Happy Monday morning. Let's look at our reading story for the week. Our reading story is called Animals Building Homes, and the genre of Animals Building Homes is informational text. Our author, Wendy Perkins, wanted us to learn about the different types of homes that animals would build. As she wrote this story, she used real photographs of animals. She also used headings to help us know about the information that we're going to read about on each page. In addition, Wendy Perkins used facts and details about each animal and their homes in her story. In other words, this is a non-fiction story or a true story about the types of homes that animals build. So let's take a look at Animals Building Homes. As we look at this first picture or this first page of our story, we see the heading. Here is the heading, A Beaver's Home. This page is going to tell us about the home that a beaver makes for itself. On this page, she also highlighted there's a vocabulary word pond, and then she made in bold print the word lodge, because that is the name of the home that a beaver would build. As you read this page, you'll find out that a beaver builds its lodge, builds its home, using logs and mud and grass, and that its lodge is to keep that animal, that beaver, safe and warm. On this page, our heading is Safe at Home. And so this information is going to tell us that one of the jobs of a home is to keep the animal safe. And so that's what this page is going to be about. You can see these animals, these foxes, they are safe in their home right now. Homes are to keep animals safe from predators, that means enemies, rain, snow, or the hot sun. So that's one of the jobs of a home, is to keep it safe. Sometimes animals use their home for their offspring. Those are their babies. They also can use their home to survive. That means to live through either hot or cold weather. So Safe at Home, all about how animals use homes to stay safe. This is a two-part page. The heading on this page is called Building Nests. So you're going to learn about two different animals that build a nest for their home. Here is the hummingbird. The hummingbird builds a small cup-shaped nest. The name of its home is a nest, and it's cup-shaped, and you'll see that it is made of moss and bits of spider web. Now, you may surprise yourself, or it may surprise you to find out that a mouse, yuck, you know my feelings on mice, but a mouse builds a nest for its home, and it builds it in the shape of a ball. And it hides in its nest, it hides it in tall grass or in a tunnel under the ground. And I hope it stays far away from Mrs. Gray. Alrighty, on this page, the heading is called Careful Builders. And this is information about animals that work really carefully to build their homes for themselves. And it gave us an example of a weaver bird, and here it is. This weaver bird builds a nest that hangs from a tree branch. And just like the name weaver bird, it uses grass and leaves to weave together to make this wonderful nest for itself. It even goes on to say that they can use their feet and their beaks to tie the grass and the leaves together so that that nest stays together. So a weaver bird is an example of a careful builder that puts a lot of work and weaving into its home. These 2 pages go with the heading, working together. You know, sometimes a home isn't just for one animal, it's home for an entire family of the animals. And that's what this page is about. This first picture is a picture of a termite home. A termite, they work together to build mounds. So the name of a termite home is a mound. It's made out of mud mixed with saliva. Saliva is your spit. And it's made, this mud and saliva mixture is really, really hard. So other animals cannot easily break through it, therefore keeping the family of termites safe. Now, this is an example of a home for animals that live on the ground. But in the ocean, in the coral reefs, there are animals that work together to build their homes, and their homes are called polyps. They make the coral reefs, so beautiful, almost plant-like looking pictures that you would see from under the ocean. The polyp builds a limestone cup around its body for protection. And then they put all of them, they all grow together to protect themselves. So they work together to protect themselves from their enemies in the ocean, the polyps. So working together, examples of animals that work together to build their homes. Some animals make a burrow. This heading is called making a burrow. What is a burrow? Well, it's a hole in the ground where some animals live. Here's a picture of an animal, and it's in its burrow. This is a gopher. And the burrows tend to have long, winding tunnels. Winding meaning not straight, very curvy. And they use their teeth and their paws to dig these tunnels. Now, in this case, the gophers, they can hide their offspring in their rooms, the other little holes that they build off their tunnels, or they can hide food for their family. This heading is called home improvement. Home improvement. This is about the animals that live in the homes of other animals. For example, this is a chickadee. It's using a hole that a woodpecker has used in a tree for its home. So the woodpecker has gone and left its home. The chickadee thought, hey, I kind of like this place. I'm going to live here. Now, they want to improve it, so they bring grass and moss into the hole, and they use this as a nest for any babies that they have, their chicks. And finally, the last section of animals building homes, the heading is called building a home. And here we have our polar bear. This is just a picture, but let's read through what building a home means or says. Most animals need homes where they can rest and raise their offspring. Homes also keep animals safe from predators. Beavers build lodges. Mice make nests. Gophers dig burrows. And how does a polar bear make its den? Well, what is this white stuff around this polar bear? Right, a polar bear makes its home out of snow. And the polar bear's home is called a den. And we just learned that on that page. So now I didn't read all of the story to you, but I did talk to you about each part of animals building homes. Now with this story, Wendy Perkins, our author, used a lot of text and graphic features to help us further understand this story. And I'd like for us to do this page together. First, it tells us we have to look at page 193. And I happen to have 193 back up on the page. Now, when we do this in class, there are lots of different text or graphic features that we would talk about. But the one I want us to look at is this one right here, a beaver's home. That is the heading. So over here, we could say that the text or graphic feature, let me get my paper ready, that we're looking at right now is the heading. So we would fill that in, and we would fill in the heading title, which was A Beaver's Home. Now, over on the purpose, well, why did Wendy Perkins have the heading A Beaver's Home? Why is that important? I hope that you're saying right now to mom or dad that that's because that's what the page is about. So we can learn about the lodge. Remember, the word lodge is on that page. Lodge. And that is the name of the beaver's home. So Wendy Perkins wanted us to know that a beaver's home, it's all about the beaver's home, which is named a lodge. This is a great place to stop the video so that you can go ahead and fill in your chart, and I'll get us ready for our next one. All right, let's continue with our chart on page 195. On page 195, we have to find a text or a graphic feature and then tell what its purpose is. Well, on page 195, it's this page, the Safe at Home. And this time, I don't want us to focus on the heading. I want us to focus on this word right here, offspring. So let's write offspring on our text or graphic feature. Now, let me tell you why we're focusing on that one. Sometimes authors use bold, dark print words to tell us, hey, this is important. Just like on a stoplight, when you see red, you know that's important. That means we need to stop, and we need to, so we are safe and others are safe. Offspring here is a bold word, and she wants us to stop and think about what that word means. So that's the purpose. What does it mean? Well, let's use our context clues. Other animals live in their homes long enough, here's the clue, to raise their offspring. What does the word offspring mean? It means babies. We're going to write two things here. We're going to first write what offspring means, which is babies. We're also going to write to stop and think, because she used that bold print word. She wanted us to stop and think about, well, what does the word offspring mean? This is another great page or place to stop the video so you can continue to write while I get us ready for our next page. Okay, our next one is listed on page 198, but I'm going to have us look next door, page 199, for this text or graphic feature. Because this, I want us to look at this picture right here, and this is what we're going to do in class. We're going to use the picture to help us today on page 199. So we're going to write, it's the picture. Now, why did I want us to focus on that picture? And why did Wendy Perkins put that picture in this story? Well, it's the picture of the weaver birds that are careful builders. And it says that they use their beaks and their feet to help tie these knots in the grass and the leaves. That picture shows us how carefully they have to work to build their nest. I mean, my goodness, it's hanging from a tree branch. So that picture shows us the hard work, the careful building that bird used. This is another great place to stop the video so you can finish writing your answer, and then we will finish up on the last page, page 200. Okay, let's look at our final job on this text or graphic feature, and it's on page 200. And on this one, I want us to look at the heading one more time. So we're going to write down our text or graphic feature is the heading. And on this one, it is working together. Now remember, the job of the heading is to tell us what that page is about. So the purpose over here, to show us that termites work together for their home. When you read informational text like Animals Building Homes, it's important that authors include text and graphic features to help us be able to fully understand the facts that we are supposed to learn. All right, so the rest of your job today, I want you to read together Animals Building Homes. You can listen to it on my Google Classroom, or you can read it on your own at home with mom or dad. If you have any questions, let me know. Good luck.